I know that these humans are the real animals. I'll huff, and I'll puff, and I'll blow their house down.
I need y'all to have a deeper understanding of Zionism compared to Judaism. Like I said, I know quite a few people who are religious, and there's a lot of history, and I'm gonna see if I can put this together well enough. But I also want you to see the individuals behind, whether it be BlackRock. I'm not gonna put BlackRock's video on there. You can look them up, what they control and everything. I'm not gonna do all that. But I want you to pay attention. All right, and I want you to see things for yourself. All right, just pay attention.
I set up a foundation in Ukraine before Ukraine became independent of Russia, and the foundation has been functioning ever since. There is one person who was very deeply involved in Ukraine, and that's Biden. He had a lot more patience than I had in trying to convert Poroshenko into a democratic leader.
But the opportunity to generate a united Ukraine, getting it right, is within your grasp. And we want to be your partner, your friend in the project. We want to, and we're ready to assist.
We're also asking Congress to act promptly to deliver on an aid package, including a $1 billion loan guarantee that can help smooth the path for reform inside of Ukraine and give the Prime Minister and his government the capacity to do what they need to do as they are also.
The U.S. has sent $18 billion in American military assistance to Israel since the war began, largely in the form of taxpayer-funded weapons.
Most of the bombs come from America, most of the technology comes from America, and all of the fighter jets, all of Israel's fixed-wing fleet, comes from America.
Josh Paul spent 11 years as a director in the State Department's Bureau of Political Military Affairs, one of the officials in charge of signing off on major weapons deals to U.S. allies.
There is a linkage between every single bomb that is dropped in Gaza and the U.S., because every single bomb that is dropped from an American-made plane.
These Israeli airstrikes, you could say, are made in America.
They are.
So far, kind of getting it a little bit. Let's keep going.
تفرجوا قنبلة صوت على الأبواب. حسبي الله ونعم.
شباب وينكم يا شباب وينكم حاصرين بالأقصى احنا حاليا حاصروا كل الشباب اللي اقتحموا المسجد القبلي بالوقت
Getting rain out here, so ain't no telling what that is, but who cares, right? Pretty something.
Let me preface these remarks with I never, ever believe Israeli figures. I've been in the government too long to know that the Israelis are patent liars. In their intelligence community, in their propaganda community, certainly, and in their leadership, they are inveterate liars. Let me say that again. They are liars. So you can't believe anything that comes out of Jerusalem. It's all propaganda.
In Psalm 55:15, it says something else that I think bears out what we're talking about and what Buddha talked about hell. It says here, let death seize upon them and let them go down quick into hell. Now watch. For wickedness is in their dwellings and among them. Your dwelling in the Bible and ancient mysticism is always your mind. Wickedness is in your mind. Wickedness is among them means it's a part of us. It's the things that you... Look at all of the thoughts you've had today. Look at all of the things. Your mind has been having a conversation with you all day, and sometimes it just scares the pants off of you, doesn't it? Tells you the evil things. Oh, what are you going to do? Sometimes you're sitting down watching TV, and you're just nice and comfortable, and you're enjoying the show, and you're at total peace, and all of a sudden your mind tells you, oh, tomorrow you got to meet so-and-so. What are you going to say? Bang, you've gone from heaven to hell, just like that happened. Your mind will never leave you alone. Your mind is the accuser. In the book of James, I think James makes it very clear. James talks about the tongue, as being hell, because he says in James 3:6 that the tongue is set on fire of hell. In other words, you speak words of accusation, you speak words of guilt, you speak words of depression, you speak words of fear and anxiety, and they all come from hell, which is your mind. All of the words that you speak originate in your carnal mind, unless you've been into meditation, where then you yield up your carnal mind, or the left side of the brain, to that which is the higher mind, or the divine consciousness, through profound meditation. Buddhism describes hell as a place of inner torment, which one projects into the environment in which you live. In other words, if hell is raging in you, it will be felt by everyone around you. You have hell raging in you during the day. You send your kids off to school with hell raging in you, and you've given it to them. They go to school with hell raging in them, and then they spin it off, and before you know it, hell's raging in everybody, because it's extremely contagious. It is negative attitudes. It is anger. It is fear. It is that which oppresses others and ridicules others. And it's these things which come out of the carnal mind. See? The Japanese word for hell is jigoko, Jigoku. It means the lowest, to be bound or to be imprisoned. See, there is hell, because you're bound by pain. You're either bound by physical pain or you're bound by mental pain. See? And when that happens, you can't think or you can't act freely. The vital life energy is just sapped away from you. That's hell. Your thoughts, your hopes, your emotions are pulled into the lowest. It's a state of death. Life holds no joy for you. You don't have to die to go to hell. You're living in hell. The world, as you can see it, look at the destruction. Teenage suicide is the second leading killer of teenagers in the United States. Those people are living in hell. And they inherited most of that from those who taught them, including the churches, who warned them and scared the pants off of them about a devil and about demons, about going to hell and about God going to punish them and all that nonsense. We put kids in hell. We put kids in stress and fear before they've had a chance even to become 10 years old. They've seen people down in Little League fields scaring the pants off of their kids. If they dare not play right or if they miss the ball, what's going to happen to them? You got kids at 7 and 8 years old on guilt trips already, in stress, and they wonder why they're committing suicide by the time they're teenage. That's hell. This is the point. Heaven is real, and heaven is in the higher consciousness. Hell is real. Hell is in the lower consciousness. If you dwell in the lower mind, you're dwelling in hell, and you know it. If you dwell in the higher mind, which most of you have never even experienced, you'll be dwelling in heaven. That's where you open yourself to the instructions from God. In Psalm 55:4, it says, my heart is sore, pained within me. All the terrors of death are fallen upon me. That's hell. Hell is what you think. In many instances, Buddha says that the instance of hell causes a reaction of rage, not against others, but against ourselves. That's the great problem. Disease, cancers, arthritis, ulcers, high blood pressure, aggravated and in some instances caused, and in many instances healing not allowed because hell is raging inside. The rage of frustration. It's a violence against others, and then it's suicide. It's a violence against yourself. Terrible frustration. Don't you see what Buddha had found, and he tried to show people? Hell isn't something that happens after you die. Hell is something that happens when you're alive. Heaven isn't something that happens after you die. Heaven is something that happens while you're alive. Jesus said, God is not a God of the dead. He's a God of the living.
Please watch this documentary. This is just the first 3 minutes, but pay attention to what the founder of Zionism wrote of his first impressions of the society in Palestine and his vision between Judaism and Israel.
In 1896, a young Austrian-Hungarian journalist, Theodor Herzl, published the book The Jewish State. He wrote it in the wake of the Dreyfus Affair, an anti-Semitic political scandal in France. Herzl was alarmed by growing anti-Semitism across Europe. He wrote, "If you will it, it is no dream. Give us sovereignty over a sufficient piece of land to meet our people's needs, and the rest we shall manage ourselves."
Herzl hoped that if the Jewish people were to have their own state, they would be a people like any other and treated as such, and then anti-Semitism would gradually diminish. But he also acknowledged in his writings that anti-Semitism was so deeply rooted and so entrenched over so many centuries that it was possible this hope may never be realized. And he could see no other solution to address anti-Semitism and the diaspora but to create a state and live there.
1 year later, he chaired the first ever Zionist Congress at a concert hall in Basel, Switzerland. The goal was to establish a national home for the Jewish people. One of the participants described Theodor Herzl as the secular black-bearded Messiah who would lead them to the Promised Land. The crowd was energized, and a refrain rang out through the hall, "Next year in Palestine." The following year, Herzl traveled for the first and only time to Egypt and then to Palestine. He wrote in his journal, "Jerusalem is magnificent. The city of David in the moonlight is impressive."
What he described is, of course, a wonderful country. In Herzl's view, it's a very liberal country, very European, very cultured, and very clean. And there are very good relations between the different minority communities and facets of society.
When Herzl presented his Zionist project, all the conservative, Orthodox, and Reform rabbis spoke out against Zionism. At the end of the 19th century, all of them did.
They saw it as a sin. They argued that exile was a divine punishment, and it was God's decision alone to send a Messiah.
Herzl said there needed to be a separation between religion and state. The rabbis should stay in their synagogues. They should not dictate what we do.
Zionism is the desire to be freed from the shackles of religion and form a new people and society in Eretz Israel, the land of Israel.
In 1905, the 7th Zionist Congress chose Palestine to establish a Jewish national home, after considering Uganda and Argentina. Itzhak Epstein delivered a speech, saying they'd forgotten, quote, "one small detail, that there is in our beloved land an entire people that has been attached to it for hundreds of years and has never considered leaving it."
This one video is the motif of a black Statue of Liberty. New black, orange is the new black, in Italy. I've been to Italy numerous times. I'm gonna go live and I'll talk about it. comment section.